All right, welcome everyone. We'll let folks trickle in and just get started in a couple of moments, but welcome. All right. So sorry about the delayed start. You're just having some technical difficulties. So our apologies, but welcome to this live chat called Living at Bentley. My name is Kenny Allard. I am the Assistant Director for Orientation and Student onboarding here at Bentley. And I am joined by some fabulous people from our residential center. So we will just kick it off with some notes from the orientation side, and then we'll hand it over to our res center. All right. So our new Falcon experience is more than just an onboarding process. It is a holistic journey designed to empower students at every step by focusing on our academics, social, and personal development. We ensure that each student is equipped to excel, engage, and make most out of their university years. So this program is built on three pillars, which are preparation, support, and connection. So, how can we prepare you for life at Bentley? Via academic success and course selection, and literally preparing essential tasks that all new students need to accomplish. So, via support, we know that this process is new for everyone. So, we are here to help you along the way. So, this includes a variety of resources, weekly communications, and a centralized way to ask questions via our new Falcon question form. And most importantly, we want to ensure that you all have the opportunity for connection within your new community. We know that connection leads to belonging, and when people feel a sense of belonging, they are more likely to succeed. You are selected to join this community for a reason, and we want you to find your little piece of home here at Bentley. Next slide, please. So now we are going to quickly talk about our new Falcon experience and some important tasks. So you will see a full checklist in Bentley Connect, and you will see an outline in the new Falcon Quick Guide, which should have been shared out with you all. But we wanted to quickly discuss these important first steps because they will prepare you to maximize yourself for June and July, where a bulk of these deadlines for the new Falcon experience will occur. So these tasks include submitting your housing application and contract, submitting your immunization and health records, and preparing for course registration. So definitely make sure you get these done. All right, next is our Bentley orientation goals. It's important to note that orientation looks different at every institution. You may hear your friends talk about how they have a day-long program, an online program, or a summer overnight program. But here at Bentley, we have a tiered program where we have an online orientation in June, some self-guided content for prep for course registration in July, followed by some community-based modules in August. From there, we have a virtual meet and greet where you can meet your orientation leader. And then the big campus program where you move in August. We have a welcome and orientation program for international students that begin on August 26th with the full university welcome beginning on August 28th. Our programming is meant to prepare you for university life, your academic career, and understanding your rights and responsibilities as a Bentley Falcon. Opportunities for engagement and, of course, a lot of fun. And an introduction to our traditions, which there are many here at Bentley. As a reminder, please save these programs, and I will now turn it over to Jeff to talk about the amazing opportunities for living on our campus.
Awesome. Thank you, Kenny. We're going to have our residential center team that are here do some quick introductions before we launch into our part of the slides. So hi, everyone. My name is Jeff. I'm one of the associate directors in the residential center, and I'll pass it over to Sabrina.
My name is Sabrina Cruz, and I'm the other associate director in the residential center.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin Della Piana, and I'm the assistant director of housing operations here at Bentley University.
All right, thank you. And we are excited to talk to all of you today about living on campus. So a little bit of an agenda of what we're going to cover, a sort of overview of why live on campus, the staff support that we have for students while they're living here, the styles of housing available to incoming students, a little bit about the actual assignment process and the forms and deadlines that are required for students to be able to live here. We're going to talk about meal plans, and then at the end, we will leave time for any of our participants to ask us questions. So we're going to dive right in. There we go. So why live on campus? We really aim to create a safe, civil, and inclusive community for everyone on our campus. That's very important to us. We want to develop our community to have a purpose and to be open and just. And we believe here at Bentley that every individual on our campus is an important part of the community and is integral to helping the community as a whole reach its highest potential. And so Bentley is a predominantly residential school. Most of our undergraduate students do live on campus. And so we're a very vibrant community, and we look forward to welcoming our incoming class this year to campus. And the three big educational priorities we have in terms of living on campus and what we hope that our students really take away from their time living here is these three things. So developing a sense of self, building connections with other people, and then really feeling a sense of belonging within the community as a whole. So again, that's what we really hope folks take away, and that's some of the benefits of living on campus. So I'm going to turn it over to Sabrina.
Right. So when you get to campus, you'll have a variety of different staff that'll, help you throughout your journey here in a variety of different offices. But I want to talk a little bit about the staff that'll be available to you within your residential living experience. And so first, we have our resident directors. So our resident directors are professional staff members who oversee the day-to-day operations of the building. So those are things related to kind of the facilities of the building. So making sure, your room is good and the bathrooms are good and things of that nature. Speaking to our facility staff member to facilitate any repairs that need to be made or cleanliness or things of that nature. They also live in the building amongst, the students that are living there. And so they are very much members of the community. Next, we have our assistant directors. So our assistant directors oversee the resident directors on our campus. And so they are helping them kind of build that community well-being within the space of your residence hall. And so making sure, again, that there are different kind of programmatic experiences we'll talk about a little bit later, but also, again, making sure that the buildings are up to par for your experience living on campus. They are members of the residential center leadership team. And so they're also helping out with other initiatives here on campus. And they also live in the residence hall. So don't be surprised if you come to campus and you kind of see them, around campus. After that, we have our resident assistants. So our resident assistants are student staff members who also, live in the residence hall. They're kind of assigned to whether it be a floor of students or a grouping of students. And it's really their responsibility to, be hopefully mentors to the students that they're assigned to, be a source of, comfort for students if they're, anything kind of going on in their space that they need maybe help in. Again, sometimes it's a light out, or sometimes it is, I need, help navigating campus, or I want to meet more people on my floor. And so they're definitely equipped to kind of see all, have all kind of potential interactions with students. And so in addition to, again, kind of that one-on-one interactions, they will also serve on duty. And so we kind of have a duty office where students will, eventually they'll kind of know where they are, and that's where they can go if, again, something's going on, later on in the evening, or if they, again, just need, someone to speak with. We also have an administrator on duty who kind of oversees the RAs that are on duty overnight. That is a professional staff member. So there's never really a time here at Bentley, no matter if it is, 2:00 during the day or 2:00 at night, where you don't have access to someone to get you assistance. And the other thing that we want to point out in relation to kind of that on duty, portion is that we do have university police that are available 24/7. You will frequently kind of see them around campus. They come into the halls, say hello to the students. And then with that, we also have the blue light system on our campus. And so you may have seen that at other campuses. It's the ability that if something's going on when you're outside and you may not have a cell phone with you, you can kind of go to that light and very quickly get connected with someone from University Police. So that's kind of, again, a very, very small amount of what our staff members here in the residential center do. Moving forward a little bit further into kind of the RA experience. So the next slide. RRAs here, again, like I talked about before, they are interacting with students in a variety of different ways. They are one of our, best and brightest here on campus. We have about 100 of them or so across campus. And so throughout your 4 years of experience here at Bentley, you will always be assigned to RA and will always have someone that you can kind of go to. And again, in however way it makes sense for you as an individual student, they are there to kind of help you. And they also have that experience of being a student here. And so, yeah, again, definitely have that ability to be mentors to you. Moving on to the next slide, we just have some, ways you may be thinking like, well, what exactly is it that, they can help me with? In an assessment that we did a couple years ago, we did kind of have that same question and wanted to get some data on that. And so here we have some of the ways that students let us know that they're interacting with their RAs. And so our question was essentially, what is your top 3 or whatever reasons that you're going to be going to an RA? And so some of the top ones would be roommate conflicts, academic support. Again, these are students that have been in your courses. They have been first-year students before, and so they can definitely help with that. Personal concerns. So again, if you have things going on campus, they can help you with that. Getting involved. So again, clubs, organizations, getting to know other students, they can definitely help with that. Navigating campus resources, and then helping out with just housing processes in general, right? So closing, what do I do at the end of the year? I want to switch my room, things like that. They can kind of help you and point you in the right direction. And then the one thing we also like to point out, since that may be something that is on the top of mind right now in regard to, do I try to find a roommate? Do I not try to find a roommate? What we have found in our experience and what we have data on is that students who don't, who are paired with a roommate just through our process, they are equally kind of satisfied with their experience. And so that is hopefully for those of you who haven't found someone, that it is okay. And at the end of your time, you actually may have found a friend that you wouldn't have otherwise found. So that is a little bit of kind of the RA and our staff experience.
All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about the first year living experiences. So these are our 3 typical first year halls. We have Slade Hall, Miller Hall, and Trees Complex. Slade and Miller are identical buildings. They house singles, doubles, triples, and quads with communal style living bathrooms. Trees Complex is mostly doubles with a handful of triples, same concept. They have communal bathrooms on each floor. There are common kitchens in every single residence halls. There is a laundry room within every single hall, as well as lounge spaces throughout the halls where RAs host programs, students hang out just to get out of their spaces. And located on our website, that is in the process of being updated, are these virtual walkthroughs. So right now you can still go in and see them, but we're in the process of updating them hopefully in the next few weeks. They have brand new images that really showcase like what Bentley has to offer. So you can click through all the different types of living that students possibly could be placed in through the housing process here at Bentley.
All right, so a little bit in regard to our defined communities here at Bentley. And so here at Bentley, we have 7 defined communities that you have the option to participate in if you would like to. And so you should have seen those if you've already done your kind of housing application piece. You should have seen an option to express interest in those. As a reminder, if you are expressing interest, you will need to upload an essay response. All that, again, is found in the application, which Caitlin will talk about a little bit later on in the presentation. Our defined communities, the hope for them is that you're living with others that have a similar interest to you, whether it be an identity or just a theme that you may have interest in. And so we have our arts community, our blueprint community, our first gen community, future entrepreneurs, our women leaders of today community, our honors first year experience, and our thrive community. So art's pretty self-explanatory there. Blueprint is going to really be related to leadership on campus. So if you are really involved as a student right now in high school, this may be the community for you. Our first gen community are for students who are the first in their families to attend a university or college. Our future entrepreneurs communities are for students who in any way, shape, or form are interested in building their own business, being a part of a new business, things of that nature. Our Women's Leader of Today community, the Her Story community, is for our students who are interested in that experience of being a woman in business. oftentimes students who are in the university's women leadership program may apply to that community, but again, you don't have to be in the university's program in order to be in that defined community. Our honors first year experience, so this is for students who are enrolled in the university's honors program. It is not all students who are in the honors program will live in that community, but it is an option for students if that's an experience that they may want. And then our last but not least community would be our Thrive community. So that's really going to be based in wellness. So the different kind of facets of wellness. So that could be, health, mental health, or physical health, mental health. It could be financial health, just any way you want to, look at well-being and wellness. That community would be for you. These communities specifically will have programmatic experience that are specific to that community. So for the arts community, some of the things that we've done in the past is go into Boston to an art museum or go to a session on campus that offers an art experience. For the first gen community, it may be pairing you with other students on campus that are also first gen, other staff members on campus that are also first gen. So again, each of these communities have their own kind of programming. As a group, one of the benefits of the Defined Community Program is that there is an early arrival program with these communities. So if you are accepted into one of the communities, we do have you move in about 2 days earlier than actually 3 days earlier than the other students who are not in defined communities. So it allows you to kind of have a little bit of an easier process with that move-in piece, since you'll be moving in with less number of people on campus. In addition, the 3 days is really an opportunity for you to get to know your floor, get to know your RA, as well as develop your own kind of leadership skills on campus before anyone else kind of gets here. At the conclusion of the early arrival program, you can then transition right into the university's, bigger scale orientation program. So a great way to get a little bit more settled, a little bit faster in the year. The Defined Community application is available again in your regular, the housing application, and it is due at the same time. And so if you have an interest, please make sure that you are, submitting your interest. Do know that it is an application process. And so again, you will have to fill out kind of that essay response, but students who are in our defined communities are, typically really involved on campus and have a really great experience and, can kind of get to know others with that shared theme experience. And then the next slide just shows you some, examples of some of our residence halls, some in defined communities and some in not.
Talk a little bit about the housing contract and application. So at this point, all of your students have received access to their housing contract and application. There is a few step process. So step 1 is open your email that you got from us that outlines how to do the process. Step 1 is opening the housing portal that each student has like unique logins through their authenticator. They will sign their housing contract that has access under forms. If your student is under 18, it will require you to sign it for them and email it back to our office at ga_housing@bentley.edu. There is a message that pops up right on students' housing portals if that is the case and that is applicable to them. And then step 2 is filling out your housing application. So the contract outlines like what Bentley is reliable for, what the move-in dates are, so on and so forth. The housing application really gives your student the opportunity to share their preferences for housing. So students have the opportunity to rank which type of living they would like to live in. So a single, a double, a triple, a quad. And they can also indicate their roommate preferences. Students do not have the opportunity though to select a specific type of building. We take the preferences on the housing application and place them through that experience. Additional steps that are located in the housing application is applying for the defined communities that Sabrina just talked about, requesting their roommate for new students. If me and Sabrina wanted to live together, I would send Sabrina a request and then Sabrina will have to go in and accept it. So making sure that your students are both going into their portal to request that student as well as having that student go in and accept it. We only will honor mutually requested roommate pairings. And then if your student needs a religious or medical accommodation, they're always welcome to apply for that as well. Everything in their first email they received from our office outlines all of these important steps. It outlines how to select a roommate, how to apply for a religious and medical accommodation, and all of this is due at 4 p.m. next Wednesday. So due June 11th, 2025 at 4 p.m. That date is very, very crucial. So if you have any thought of thinking you want to live on campus, highly, highly, highly recommend that you fill this in sooner rather than later. After June 11th, it makes our job a lot harder. So please, 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 if you think you want to live here, please do it by June 11th.
Thank you. And I will just add that we cannot guarantee for anyone who submits it after June 11th that we will be able to provide housing. So that date is very firm. Please make sure your student does it on time. Okay. And then the last thing we want to talk about before we open it to questions is just a little bit about meal plans. And all of this information that we've been talking about, it's on our website in even more detail, and that's at bentley.edu/housing. Pretty easy to get to. So in terms of meal plans, we do have 4 different meal plans available on campus. For first-year students, all first-year students, regardless of what building they're living in, are required to be on our Block 304 meal plan, which is our highest meal plan for the entirety of their first year on campus. So those first-year students cannot change their meal plan. In subsequent years, as they're sophomores through seniors, they'll have other options that you can see listed here, depending on where they live. So also, if you are an incoming transfer student, who is, a sophomore or beyond, your meal plan options would depend on where you live. So students who are living in an apartment style housing as a transfer student, or just an upper class returning student, which is an apartment has a full kitchen, they would be able to pick from any of these 4 meal plans. And our transfer students and upper class students who live in a suite that doesn't have a full kitchen would be able to pick from those first 3 listed there, the 304, the 240, and the 192. And so the names of these meal plans actually reveal how many swipes a student gets for the semester. So the Block 304 plan that first-year students are required to be on comes with 304 meal swipes for the semester. And that works out to roughly 3 meals a day in our main dining hall. Each of these meal plans also comes with discretionary money in different amounts, as you can see there. And that is what's good at or usable at our other dining locations besides our main dining hall. So the main dining hall, which is called the 921, that is, sort of typical. You swipe in and it's all you can eat once you're inside. Our other dining options on campus are a la carte. So you're, buying specific items there. And that's where that discretionary money comes into play. There are also meal trades on most of those meal plans, as you can see there. And a meal trade, that you can use 5 of them per week, and it allows students to use a swipe at one of those a la carte dining options. So you could go to somewhere that's not the main dining hall, use one swipe, and get like an entree item, a side, a drink, etc. on one swipe. So just a little bit about our dining options. Again, the 921 is our main dining venue. We do have a Dunkin' on campus in our student center, which is a lovely thing. The one caveat to the Dunkin' is, unfortunately, it does not work on the meal plans. So anyone going to Dunkin' needs to just pay, with cash or credit card, etc. But that's our only dining option that doesn't work on the meal plan, but we are very fortunate to have it here. We have Harry's also in the student center, which is a late night option after the dining hall closes. They serve like pub style food, burgers, chicken fingers, flatbread pizzas, things like that. We have Natural in our student center, which does smoothies and other sort of lighter snacks during the day. We have an Einstein Brothers Bagels in the library. Our La Cava Cafe is located up near the academic buildings, and that has a variety of different stations in it. Sandwiches, sushi, a grill, salads, and that's all a la carte. We have a Starbucks Express also located in La Cava. And then we have Corrido which is essentially a version of something similar to a Chipotle down on our lower campus in our athletic building. So lots of great options on campus. Definitely encourage you to explore those a little more on our website as well. All right, that is the end of our time of our scheduled stuff. So we will open it to any questions in the question feature. Or is there, Kenny, do you know, do we have a Q&A on this?
Yeah, there should be a Q&A at the bottom for folks if they have any questions. I think I'm seeing some hands raised, and unfortunately, because of this being a webinar, we can't have you unmute yourself. So if you want to use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, you can type in a question and our panelists will answer them for you.
All right, so I see a few questions coming in. One person asked, is the meal plan just for the week? What about weekends? It also includes the weekend. So I apologize. When I said, per week, I meant, full week, Sunday to, Saturday. So yes, there is dining available fully on the weekends. Caitlin, do you want to take the ones? There's when do you announce the housing assignments and when will roommates be assigned?
Absolutely. So I will answer all these questions. So are students supposed to select their room or do they randomly pick it? So all students need to do is complete their housing contract and application, and then our housing team will actually place all of the students in their assignments. With that being said, if you do not match with a roommate that you find on social medias or just through knowing people, we will use the preferences that students submit in their housing application to match them through our process. And they will find that information out when they officially find out their housing assignment, which will be at the end of July. And then the athletes that are incoming fall athletes, specifically approved fall athletes, so not all fall athletes, report to campus early. That information will come later. Typically, they will arrive for the August 18th into their actual fall assignment. But that information will come through their coaches.
And then I see there's a question about our housing costs and summer. So the costs that you'll find on our website are per academic semester. So, the rate that's listed per semester is for the fall, and then again for the spring. Summer is not included in that. We do offer housing over the summer as a separate housing process that students can apply for. Students who wish to stay for the summer do have to have a reason to stay here. They either have to be taking a class here at Bentley, working an on-campus job, or working or doing an internship somewhere, locally in the Boston area to be able to stay over the summer. And that is at an additional cost as well, beyond the regular academic year rates. Any other questions from folks? We can give it a minute if anything else comes in. All right, I think, Kenny, that might be it.
Awesome. All right. Thank you all so much for attending this live chat. This was recorded, so it will be on our YouTube if you ever need to go back and reference anything. But thank you to our wonderful presenters today from the Res Center. We truly appreciate you all. All right. We hope you have a wonderful week and enjoy your summer, and we can't wait to see you all in the fall. Bye, everyone.